towards the end, if you're not invited to the table, you are in the menu. Can I go again? If you're not invited at the table, you are in the menu. So, there's a table here. People are making decisions, or people are eating. If you have not been invited to sit around the table, you are being eaten. Mukondani huko. Do you get me? I will say it again because I can see some are still floating. If you are not sitting at the table, you are in the menu. What I'm saying for women is this: those of us who have to break that glass ceiling, break it. And our CEO, and I respect her a lot, MD, Margaret, she said it very clearly. Leadership is not given, it is taken. You take leadership. We even say that Caroline has taken her position as PS of this and this. So this is you take that leadership. I'm not saying you go fighting, but you take that position with your professionalism, with what capacities that you have, with the results that you are giving, and with the values that drive you. With the values that drive you. This is what opens the doors for you. And so, to repeat that, because you need to pick those positions of leadership. And leadership is not necessarily, you know, the leader without a title. You don't have to be called director of HR. You can actually lead from where you are. You can actually, the first time I was invited, I was told, I was made the head of HR in a ministry. That was in 2008. The persons that taught me how to sit, how to work, was one young person who was 26 years, almost the age of my children. And he's the one who taught me many things, a young person. Yeah? So leadership, he was actually leading from that level. Somebody was in job group J, but who had studied many things, and he had also sat next to the powers that be. His father used to, I think, work in those days of Moi. He used to work, I think, in a state house. He was a state house controller. And he told me one thing, Mrs. Mogo, you know, because I used to call him after 5. Namwambia after finishing work, around 5 minutes to 5, come and tell me this and this, answer this and this, because I realized he had a skill in writing. And aliniambia that, you know, what is driving this ministry is not the business, it's not the things that we are doing between 8 and 5. It is the discussions that flow between 5 and the following morning. Imagine hearing that from a young person. And I realized it is true. What do you do with yourself as a leader? I know there's a leader here behind me already. I don't know how she survives. Because we are in a world where you need just a bit more. Just a bit more. In one ministry, I was very frustrated. As a director for HR, I've already found some ladies that can go upwards. They have the skill, they have been trained inside Kenya and outside in another ministry, not in water. So I tried to call one. She was called Margaret. Namusimwambie, because you don't know her, I'll not say which ministry. So I called Margaret and I told her, Margaret, I would like you to sit in this seat as a head of this division. And to do that, I would like to equip you, I would like to shape you to be able to sit there. So we talked and I asked her, what do you do on Saturday? What do you do in the evening? I have moved too far. What do you do? What do you do? So she told me she sells cabbage, and she's rearing chicken, and I'm trying to make her one of my heads because she was completely well equipped, her brain was in the right place, and I could see, unajua in HR, we can see where people are going, we can even see the vacancies ahead before even they happen. And you know, I could not lift her. It was very hard now for Margaret to get to the position which she was rightfully supposed to get. So she was too busy doing small things, and they're not bad, but please, if you want to rise up, link with the right minds. One of the things that I learned from Dr. Wale, he's one of the people that...
You have 2 minutes to wind up.
Thank you. I will. So, this is the last slide, is that spend time with the kind of people where you want to go. Sio mahali umetoka. So if you want to go upwards, spend time with those people. The ones, when you meet them, you sweat. Unajua that caffeine sweat, because you don't even know whether they will like you. Spend a lot of time with those ones. And I think I am through with this. We are going to do what we can. I think the slides can be used elsewhere. And I'm very, very happy to be able to speak about what, as I said, what I've been told to speak about, because it's one of the passions that I have. And for the women that are here, I think we have had at whatever level, a call for action. For some of us who have a lot of experience and we have said a lot, we can actually come together and help the upcoming ones. The upcoming ones, you must also look like you want to be coached and mentored. Come for those forums. We are happy for those of you who have come for this one. And the rest, I believe we shall do this country a lot of proud. Thank you very much for listening.
Let us do better in giving a round of applause for Caroline, because that was very enlightening that she has opened us up for this session, and we are going to take it forward from there. Let us do better in clapping for Caroline as I invite the rest of the panelists to the floor so that we can continue from there. And I thank God that the same things that Caroline has mentioned, they are the same things we have had since we started. The lack of supportive policies and regulatory frameworks, the proper personnel management, institutional weaknesses of the organizations that we represent. All these issues, we have had them. And as women, as youths, we need to take our space. We are also hearing this, and for sure we need to take our space, because if we don't take, it will not be given to us. We have to take our space. We have to encourage ourselves. We have to be confident of ourselves that we can do it. And I want to encourage us that if a man can do, a woman can do better. Do we believe that? Do we believe that? Yes, what a man can do, a woman can do better. I remember quite early when I was in college, was doing water engineering diploma, and we were doing drawings. I used to do them very well, and I was not staying in college, I was staying at home. And my lecturer used to think that a man is doing for me until the day of exams. And I did very well, better than even what I was doing with the homeworks. And he confessed and said, Mary, I have been thinking somebody has been doing this for you. But I'm grateful that it's you who have been doing it. So I want to tell us, let's take our space and move forward. So I want to call the panelists here in front so that we can take this forward. I am having Anthony Jeramba, MD Mombasa Water and Sewerage Company, please come forward and take a seat so that we can continue from there. From there, I have Engineer Petronina Ogut, lecturer at Technical University of Kenya. Let us appreciate them as they come, because they are here so that we can exchange notes and that they can open us up with the experiences that they have. Let us applaud Petronina, Engineer Petronina, as she comes in. No, just stay there. You are still part of the patron list. Yes, we have Eva Moya, the President, Kenya Septage MTS Association. Let us clap for her as she comes to the podium. We also have Ruth Nganga, Manager, Resource Mobilization and Corporate Communication, Water Sector Trust Fund. Let us appreciate her as she comes. Ruth from Water Services Sector Trust Fund. Karibu sana, Ruth. We also have Vincent M. Auma, Head of Management, WIWAS Net. Let us appreciate him as he comes, so that as we continue discussing this, we are discussing about women and youth, to build capacity for women and youth, to ensure that we encourage them. Empowerment is usually a social process that is multidimensional, and it helps people, as we say here, the women now and the youth, gain control over their own lives, refusing to be intimidated, refusing to be harassed, either sexually or otherwise, refusing to be held back by even cultural barriers, because these are things that we need to fight as women and youth. Also refusing to bow by the societal norms that surrounds us, where we are brought up, and all those things, because these are the things that pull us back as women, because society, what will they say? Caroline, those after hours. So that question came up also yesterday, that why we are overtaken by men is that after 5, when we cross offices, we learn to our homes so that we can take care of the children and the rest of the activities and the selling of bogas for extra economy, for extra sharing here and there. That Caroline is challenging us, that if we have to rise higher, if we have to get this space, if we have to occupy this space, then we have to fight some of these things. So the panelists that we have today, in the institutions that you are representing today, I would want us, because I don't have your background, I want you to get some time, tell us who you are, give us your history of where you have come from, and at the same time also tell us, as an institution, or even as an individual in that institution, what are the structures that are there? What are the processes that are made that can create this space for women and youth, so that they can be empowered to do that which, and to be able to control their own lives, to occupy the space that is there, so that when they are called upon, like Caroline has said, they don't shy away. They take it up with pride. So as you introduce yourselves, I don't know whom we have to help us with mics around, or you are here. We can start there at corner. Oh, you are supposed to use, okay, thank you. Yes, let us hear what
your institution is doing to ensure that the women and the youth are empowered. The women and youth are capacity built to take control of their lives, to take control of the communities that they are living around, to take control of the institutions they are in. At the current levels they are in, how do they continue climbing? What are the processes? What are the structures? What are the policies that are there in your institution? That is a question for all of us, because I believe we are representing different institutions, as I have mentioned.
Thank you. Maybe I can ask how many minutes?
Not more than 3 minutes. Thank you for asking that, because we are supposed to finish at 12:40. And now we are at 12:27. So we are actually having a maximum of 20 minutes for this. So if you can take 3 minutes each, that will be good, so that we also give the audiences time to ask questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Eva Moya. I'm from the private sector, and I am the chair for Kenya Septic Entities Association, and we are rebranding it back to Kenya Sanitation Actors. We are private sectors looking at the entire value chain and bringing them together. We are covered by an umbrella body called Pan-Africa Sanitation Actor, which is an African entrepreneurs in sanitation. In Africa, I'm the deputy president, so that tells you that they have given lead in women, and maybe because of the gender issue that there has to be a woman. And in it, we have been, even in Kenya, we've been putting together that the women, we are attracting women to come in and to have this conversation with us, and more so even women living with disability. So in Kenya and the youth, what we are doing right now currently is trying to make it attractive for the youth. I'm in a sector that is very interesting because I'm in sanitation. Our focus is in sanitation, where there is no much attraction, because in sanitation, that is where the real business of, we don't shy away from saying the shit business is taking place. So in it, we have what we call sweat equity. We are different. I was waiting to hear when they were talking about resources and finances. I expected to hear about sweat equity, financial equity, whereby in the sanitation sector, from the middle to the high, we rely on our sweat to be able to get capital to do our work. So we are bringing together the women and telling them, in this sweat equity, you can combine it together and formalize your name to a company that you are able now to run the businesses as a professional entity. And also attracting the young people by introducing gadgets. If you have young people in your home, you know everybody is about phone. So how can we bring sanitation into gadgets level? By bringing Internet of Things into the corporation of sanitation. So what we've done, we want to come up with an app that is going to collect data on how many probably toilets do we have in Kenya, how many septic systems do we have, how many decentralized systems are we having, what is the sewer line capacity, emptiers, the transporters, what it is that how much liters of water are they able to carry. And if we are able to do this, we are going to attract the young people, because the moment we say this, I'm happy Mary University is here, Dr. Kengera is here, we can collaborate and do things together, because now we are reaching up to the ones that are left behind, who are manual emptiers. And even in the manual emptiers, we are trying to find out who are the women and the young people, and who is going to take over the sanitation business after the old people are gone. So my last statement will be, when you grew up, or when you are young, you know all the people who are blocking sewage who are old people. We no longer have young people unblocking sewage. We have constructions everywhere and we have sewage. Who is going to be unblocking the sewage? So these digital equipments that are coming up, we are introducing them now locally so that we can attract the young people to come on board and attract the women also to come on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Engineer Petronina, as you responded to that question, as a lecturer at a university, can also tell us what are the chances, what are the possibilities that are there for you, women and youth in the university, in your institution, to help them bring out the power, the energy, and the strength that they have.
Thank you very much. My name is Engineer Petronila Woods, and I'm a lecturer at the Technical University of Kenya. And I'd like to say that most of my career life has been in the water sector, and been a chief executive officer in 2 state corporations. So at the Technical University of Kenya, we are lecturing, and mostly we have youth, we have the women. So what I would like to advise is that there are several programs. Please visit our websites. Just go on Google and look at Technical University of Kenya. You'll get all the programs there. But what I also want to tell you is that we are collaborating with other institutions what is the enabling environment that we are bringing in our institutions to help tap into this resource? That calls for strategies. And I want to challenge the Ministry of Water. For this conference to be successful, what are the strategies that the Ministry of Water and Sanitation is going to do what? Is going to implement. I am so proud of, it is called Nakuru County, because they hosted us, they've enabled us to come here. So we need a collaborative strategy that we harness
Thank you very much, Engineer. As we move on to MD Mombasa, as our colleague in the water utility, a World Bank report has said that the largest generation of youth in history, it's now. About 1.8 billion are between 10 and 24 years. And I believe this is the cluster of people we have in the WSPs. As I'm an MD, and as a man for that matter, and we are talking of empowering and ensuring that we tap the potential that is in women and youth. What has your utility done to ensure that this group of people, the women and the youth, are empowered to be able to handle situations? You know, we have a challenge in the utilities. Originally used to be held by engineers, but we are moving from there to other sectors of curriculum to head the institutions. What are the strategies that you have? What are the policies that you have within the water company to tap this potential that is in youth and women?
Thank you. Kwanza pokeeni salamu kutoka Mombasa. Joto ni nyingi huku kama ile huko kwetu. Mmepokea salamu? Asante. I think, Madam Chair, Mombasa Water is probably one of the organizations that has actually benefited from women and water. I came with two of my colleagues there. I've seen them somewhere here. Joroge and Salman, you can just stand. Yes. So whatever I'm going to say, they can collaborate. You can see them in private and collaborate what I'm going to say. I joined Mombasa Water 3 years ago. In the WASPA ranking, they were number 81 out of 86. Then next year, we brought them to 78, then 69. This year, the results that came out 2-3 days ago, we are number 53. We moved up almost 30 places. 2 years ago, we took the honors of empowering women and youth in our organization. And we took an intentional and deliberate policy to make sure that either a woman is leading, a youth is leading, or they are second in line in terms of succession. In the impact report for this year, our PROPUA was number 5 out of the 86 companies that are ranked. The PROPUA component in Mombasa Water is led by a youth and a woman, for that matter. She took over from somebody who was retiring around 58 years, and we decided we were going to empower a lady and a youth, for that matter. Out of the 9 key heads of departments, 5 are women, 4 are men. 2 years ago, out of the area managers are the core of the company. We have 5 major areas. Out of those 5 major areas, we only had 1 woman as an area manager. Today, 4 out of those 5. Oh, I've seen Grace. That's Grace there? Yeah, Grace, you can stand up also. She's one of our managers also. And those are the people who have been working in LIC to move them to number 5 out of 86. Out of 5 area managers, when I joined the company, 4 were men, only 1 was a woman. Today, it is inverse. 4 are women and 1 is a man. The key departments that are in the company, as I've mentioned, majority are women. On top of that, out of the board of directors of WASPA, out of the 9 board of directors, 6 are women, 3 are men. So if there is probably the reason I'm seated here is because we are one of the companies that has steadily shown that when you empower a woman, you empower an entire generation. When you empower a man, you probably empower an individual, or The other thing that we have taken into consideration moving forward is to make sure that when we have meetings, trainings, evaluations, we make sure that there is a woman or a youth or both in any engagement that takes place in our company. And the results are there to see. When you look at our billing, when I joined 3 years ago, our billing in a month was oscillating between 53 million in a month. Sometimes we go down up to 49. Today is 2nd of July. We just billed on 30th of June, and we billed 73 million. That's about 20 million over and above what we used to bill before we made these particular changes. That is remarkable. And all this is done because of the women and the youth that we have actively put into positions of authority, that they can make decisions and they can also participate in the management process of running a company. What's my point? The stories that we've been told this whole afternoon, and probably in the morning, and probably the rest of the days, and more so what Madam HR from Madam Carol? Yes, Madam Carol has been telling us, including her own lost opportunities, is something that I personally hold very dear. And I'll finish with my own personal example of what I've done over the years that could probably have been an inspiration for me to empower the youth and the women up to where we are. In the first term of devolution 2013-2017, I was the CEC. I was a CEC in the governor's office. Basically, I was the cabinet as a job. First in lands, in tourism, then I went to agriculture and livestock, and then lastly I was the CEC in charge of lands, housing, and planning. What you've been seeing as part of affordable housing in Mombasa, that was part of our brainchild. On top of that, my colleagues and peers elected me as a national chairman for all the CCs in this country from 2015 for a record 3 years unopposed. So I was sitting in a very high big seat. Along the way, I had one of my personal assistants called Judy Mato. And as I went along and sitting in this position, one day I told her, Judy, one day, I may not be in this position. And because you people are tied to me, what happens if I'm impeached by the counter assembly? You also go out with me. I want you to build yourself, and I'm going to work with you. So so I took her to one of the trips that we are going to the US to visit an organization called National Women in Agriculture, which was founded in the US. And when we came back, I told her, this is what I want. I don't want you to do any of my work. I'm not going to be my own person and my own personal assistant. And we have only 2 years to set Kenya Association of National Women in Agriculture. Today that organization exists. Judy is self-employed. You can check on Facebook, Google, everywhere. She's all over the world, and she has done tremendously. She works very closely with the Council of Governors. That's an inspirational story that tells you that when you unleash a woman, she can do anything. I want to encourage my fellow MDs or people who are in positions of authority. Try it. It has never failed. It will never fail. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer. That is very, very encouraging, and that is quite something for us to copy because it works. And women will have it done. We were told yesterday. So, Vincent Oma, Head of Programs with the WASPA. Tell us, these programs, how are they favoring women and youth?
Thank you very much, MD. I'll start by saying that one thing that I've learned in life is that if there is the will to do it, then you will summon the strength
Rave Beats music.
When work stops at 5, some of us continue until 4. Yeah, but I want to say, as a woman,
Rave Beats music.
Because of how we worked together and how basically I managed to mentor Linda. Yesterday, you saw her here in her own right, in the panel, talking about women in water. That is how I have tried to make it personal with the ladies that I work with. And for some strange reason, I almost always have only ladies in my department. And I want to say, because of how she has grown now, she is poised to just become head of communication, so that there will no longer be resource mobilization and communication or ICT and communication. There will just be communication because of the Caroline will know here how we have done the different structure and also career progression in the fund. So I think, Engineer, there is something I want to say, and I hope it is the right forum to say this. We've talked a lot about drive as youth and also about taking opportunities. I am a Christian, and I want now to talk about me as Ruth, as a person. And this is how I encourage the youth and what I want to tell them here today, and even the women. There is a lot we can do as people. There is a lot I have done to push so that I can be where I am today by being professional and maintaining integrity, like was mentioned earlier, and basically exceeding expectations of those who have put their trust in me. And that is required of all of us if you're going to go somewhere. Plus, breaking the glass ceiling, because sometimes your best is not enough. Sometimes your best is not enough. But this is what I want to tell these people, and what I've been telling the young people in my organization on a personal capacity, and the women, not now in a professional capacity, but on a personal capacity, because many of them come to me for some kind of counseling because they know that I am a strong Christian. Maybe what we've not yet had mentioned specifically, although it has been mentioned in passing, there is one more ingredient missing in this story of women and youth. And you want to climb and you want to push and break glass ceilings. You need to spend time with your God praying through the glass ceiling. Are we together? Play through the glass ceiling, because it is hard to break with just your capacity and everything. Play through the glass ceiling, because Mr. Blessing from APHRC told us miracles are worked. They are worked by developing your capacity, but they are also worked by trusting that there is a higher power who wants you to break through the glass ceiling. It is not just about breaking through the glass ceiling, it's fighting the battles for you. Because you've listened to these ladies, you heard Petronila,
You heard the CS talking on day one. The battles will be many. I know even men fight battles in career, but women, you will fight more. You will be fought and you will fight more. And youth, as you struggle to climb and break the glass ceiling, you will also fight battles. So you have got to spend time trusting that the God you serve wants to fight your battles. You know, you asked me to say something that's rude, and that is rude. I have fought many battles even in my own organization to be where I am. Not that I was being fought in the papers or all that, please don't get me wrong. But there are always subtle battles in offices, Mr. Jaramba. They are always there. But you can overcome by professionalism, but also please, if you, I'm not going to say if you don't remember everything else. As you remember everything else, please remember also there is a higher power. I don't know if there's someone in here who doesn't believe in that. I respect your views, but there is a higher power, and please, that one doesn't leave you even when things are going wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Let us clap for Ruth. I want to support that point. And Muranga South and my colleagues are here. My colleagues, are you here? Yes, they are here. They know we have managed through prayers. Battles have been many, but prayers have always come through for us. They have helped us to pray through the grass ceiling. I want to finish before I give Caroline to wind up for us. I just want to give a personal experience which I want us to learn from, even as we break and even as we finish this. I remember when I finished Form 4 and I went to Form 5, my father, who was working with the government press then, he was just a driver but very connected. He had worked my way to go abroad, to continue studying there. But before that could come, then he found his daughter in the way of family. Something that was very devastating for him. He was very annoyed because now I have ruined my tomorrow. And he complained a lot to my mom and complained, saying that my mom has not taken well care of me. You know, this is what happens with men. So I just want to say that these things happen especially to the young ladies. But fathers who are here, managers who are here, let us put those things behind us as fathers. And even if our girls will go in that way, let's support them and let us not kill what the dream that we have for them just because that has happened. And this is what Caroline was saying, creating a good environment. No matter the things that are there, let us support our men, our young men, so that they can untap, we can help them untap the potential. Well, I managed later on, and that's why I am where I am. Because even with that, I struggled, I got my space, and now I am occupying my space. So let us ensure we support the ladies, we support women, we support even our young men as well, because they also have their own challenges. Let's support them. Let's go before those challenges. Let's encourage them to overcome the challenges that they may have, and especially for fathers, because I know this hits fathers' heart. Have a small heart to continue pushing these young men and women to move on and to get to their dreams. So with that, I want to, Caroline, she's gone, she's up. Oh, I want you to give us the parting shot because we are supposed to finish. Actually, we are supposed to have finished. And I believe we have all gotten what these panelists have, the experience they have gone through, what they are doing. By the way, MD, Mombasa, I have also since Corona, when we were not to work, all of us in the office, I came up with a strategy of the 4 managers who were behind me, who 2 are ladies and 2 are men. I decided they'll be acting as MD. Every month, we have somebody acting as MD. And I tell you, since Corona, it is still going on today. Right now, it's the technical manager who is acting, that's why he could not come. He's the one acting as the MD. And one of the ladies I have here is among them. And I tell you, the 2 ladies have always outdone the 2 men. So women, we can do it. Let us take our space. And let us not shy away. Let us not allow ourselves to be intimidated. So Caroline, in 1 minute, come and wipe it out for us.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think I may take even less. Be the change that you want to see. I think we have a huge opportunity to bring that change because we have laws governing, helping us to get what we want. And also, let's make use of the partnerships, collaborations. I think we have learned from, I've learned a lot from these people that are here and the others that have spoken before. Let's partner, collaborate, network, because that's how things get done. There is hope, and I'm coming out of this conference with a lot of hope that things are going to change, not only for myself. I've already decided the actions I'm going to take as Carol, and also as the head of HR in the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. So be the change that you want to see. Thank you.
Be the change that you want to be. For any questions, because of time, please email them, send them to our website, to the email, and they will be responded by the steering committee. Because of time, we may not respond to the questions, because actually the guest who is closing this session is already here. Now, let us put a loud of appreciation for our panelists, for presenting to us, for giving us their experiences and what they are doing. Let us clap for them as we appreciate what they have done for us, as we also ask them to go back to their places, their seats. Guys, also clap for yourself also for being there, because if you are not there, maybe this session would not have been successful. Thank you very, very much. As we continue sitting, is the CEO to take over our Kayamba Africa here to entertain us as we wait for the guests to come. So continue Kayamba Africa to get from there.
kinyangana leyo, kinyangana wero yang, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana wero yang, kinyangana Kibarkulo, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana chimaka, kinyangana chimakwa, kinyangana meako, kinyangana kokonatwa, kinyangana omura, kinyangana tombonyen, kinyangana tombonyen, kinyangana tombolotunjo, kinyangana tigerandro, kinyangana olinloto, kinyangana barbabaro, kinyangana barbabaro, kinyangana peno, kinyangana pela kape, kinyangana kinyangana wero yang, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana wero yang, kinyangana leyo, kinyangana wero yang, kinyangana chesirene, hao na wana chesirene, hao na wana chesirene, urona chemsta bebo bol, hao na wana chesirene, urona chemsta bebo bol, hao na wana chesirene, hao na wana chesirene, chemunwa kenam, kenam, chemunwa kenam, kenam acholo kenam, chemunwa kenam, kenam, chemunwa kenam, kenam acholo kenam, kenam asereto kenam, kenam acholo kenam, kenam amochi kenam, kenam acholo kenam, kenam akabala kenam, kenam acholo kenam, wero no chwa amemuko wero no chwa amemuko wero no lanaho imangama dileya ha chemchokare dileya ha chemchokare awero no chwa amemuko wero no chwa amemuko wero no lanaho imangama.
Ladies and gentlemen, that song is all the way from Pokot. We want to, before the program comes to do the official speech and the closing ceremony, I have my own speech. Will you allow me to say it? But don't record it as part of the conditions of water and sanitation. Mine is to say and speak on behalf of my team that we have thoroughly enjoyed this conference. We have thoroughly enjoyed how you have reacted to our music, and we have thoroughly enjoyed your interaction with us. We say thank you, and as an artist, when an artist says thank you these days, he really knows what he's saying. We have not sung for 1.5 years. We have been locked down. So this opportunity to me was great, and I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. We are human. Some of Mujipigie makofi tafadhali. You can take a seat. And I'm not saying in a bad way, but Merus don't have songs that go fast. We looked for a song that goes fast in Meru. The only one that goes fast is Gatwenje. No, what was it? And that one is normally sung at the end of the day. So we have to follow the rules of Meru folk songs. Mutaka. Thank you very much. I told you, that's the fastest. Forgive us.
Thank you. Makofi kwa Kayamba, Africa. Would encourage the ushers to mobilize and ensure that every delegate, every exhibitor, wherever this voice is getting to, you are requested and persuaded to join us in the auditorium as we come to the close of this conference. Our chief guest is already within the building, both the representatives of the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, and this great county of Nakuru, flanked by our chairman of the association. So in a short while, we will be starting. So we invite you We know it has been a plethora of activities right from day one, starting with the excursion where we had paraded very exciting excursion. Unfortunately, we missed to go to Hell's Gate, where we have mountain biking, rock climbing. Then after that, you go to the spa, which has very therapeutic effects. I'm told that one is different and miraculous than that of Naaman. If you dip yourself in, your skin becomes smooth and soft like that of a newborn. But beyond that, we had the Crescent Island Game Sanctuary, a very breathtaking activity. This is a peninsula surrounded by Lake Naivasha, which was formed in 1988 when the water levels dropped significantly. And the major part of it is accessible by boat. So you are able to see exciting fauna as you enjoy the boat ride. And I believe during the picnic lunch, it was done amongst the wildlife. So there are those ones who had the opportunity to go to Lake Nakuru National Park, and I think it ended at the Lord Egerton Castle. I don't know if they were able to visit the 52-roomed house, which was made after a man was provoked by a woman. He constructed a 4-roomed house. This woman was the betrothed, and she said it was chicken house. So the man, out of anger and both love for that woman, had to import very expensive materials outside this country to construct a 52-roomed house. Unfortunately, when it was complete, the lady turned down the offer. Very interesting. I think all the precious stones are there. So I'm told it has become a tourist attraction. So I think they'll be able to share with us. Then in the afternoon, we moved to the exciting opening conference, where we had a high-level panel discussion, bringing in different actors, including the representation from the Ministry of Public Service and Gender, where we had Honorable J.B. Kilimo here representing. We also had the chair of the CC caucus at the COG, our chairman, CPA Michael Mangeli. Very interesting and robust discussion, which was sparked by, I don't know, I can call it the earth shaking or quaking presentation by Dr. Leonita Sumba. Wapi makofi ya Sumba? Until the speech of the CS was inundated with Dr. Sumba, Dr. Sumba, Dr. Sumba, Dr. Sumba. So that was good, because I think the issues affecting women were captured, and this was also strengthened by a presentation from the interim chair of YWP Kenyan chapter, Jeremy Beru, from Thika Water, which evoked some declarations and directives. For those who are not there, I think this will be repeated, or I keep off it for now because it will be shared. But those directives that were given were very, very beneficial. I'm only doing this to allow the others who are outside to join us, as I give snippets of information on how it has looked like since day one. Then we had an exciting cocktail at the end of the day, which was hosted by our chair, who was flanked by the chair of the CEC caucus. We transited into day two panel discussions. After that, we went into the breakaway concurrent sessions and convener sessions, up to today dealing with the 6 broad thematic areas that had been identified to ensure that we live to the theme of the conference, unlocking potentials of youth and women, to ensure that we have just not water and sanitation services, but to ensure they are also sustainable. So as we are coming towards the end of this conference, we want to transit to the closing ceremony, which I want to believe will be very, very short, because we have 3 different presenters, very few resolutions. If I invite you to your conference catalog and program and catalog, I can invite you to page 25. There are conference resolutions. So the first one will have Scholastic Angari, who is the interim deputy chairman or chairperson. At times when we say they are chairpersons, we have always been corrected that we man the chair. So don't call us chairperson, call us chairman. So different schools of thoughts, but I believe they're all semantics, but clearly they are understood. Dr. Leonita Sumba, I know this time she will be very, very brief. It's only 5 minutes, allusions. Then after those ones, we transit now to official closing remarks for the closing ceremony. We have our chairman, we have the representative of the governor, county government of Nakuru. Then we move to the keynote address by Dr. Andrew Tuimur, CBS Cabinet Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Water and Sanitation and Irrigation. So that is how it looks like. And once we are done, then we shall be at liberty, once the congregation and the conference is dissolved, to move into lunch. Then everybody will be at liberty to move at his or her own pleasure. There will be no pressure for you to move. This is a very exciting county, and there are a number of exciting flora, fauna, and other tourist attraction sites that you can be able to enjoy. Kayamba, Africa, as we get in the chief guests. So I believe those who are not there and have joined us today have been able to somewhat, even if not fully, to catch up with the progress of deliberations of this conference. Kayamba, Africa, you can give us a jig. Jua tumechoka sana, hata tunaweza changamuka kidogo.
The good thing about what is you is that anyway, okay, where were we before we left? Yes. I want to pay special tribute to the next song. This song is the one I used to get away. Yes, I had to impress my in-laws by singing this song, and especially so. This song is very, very apt for this particular conference. It's in Kama, and it talks about the need for hygiene, the need for cleanliness, the need of how to take care of yourself. And if there's a Kamba in the house, you will relate to these are songs we used to teach our children so that they learn about personal hygiene. And Kambas but I will, of course, signal you. Tusimame tafadhali. Tusimame. Makofi kidogo. Tukaribishe mgeni wetu. Wakapa wanaenda mbele wakirudi nyuma, mbele na nyuma, mbele na nyuma, mbele na nyuma. Haya, unatikisa mabega kidogo, hivyo inaitwa kilume. Kilume. Haya, kila mtu mkono namna hii. Mundu tese kulamba ya kulamba kulamba ne kusema etwalete kulamba. Mundu tese kulamba soane ya kulamba kulamba ne kusema etwalete kulamba. Etwalete kulamba. Kana kamwana kanangengie kanangengie sukulu yeminya wana wakona winamia tukule ngundi tokoe tukule ngundi tokoe kana kamwana kanangengie sukulu yeminya wana wakona winamia tukule ngundi tokoe tukule ngundi tokoe. Tunaenda mbele. Mabega, mabega. Kumbuka. Unotese kulamba, zoani ya kulamba, kulamba ni kuseo, nitwalete kulamba. Unotese kulamba, zoani ya kulamba, kulamba ni kuseo, nitwalete kulamba. Mabega sasa. Unaweka kikapa kabisa. Zunguka ukijiangalia. Zunguka ukijiangalia.
I still cannot, because they are my in-laws, and I'm happy I've seen some people in yellow, I share with you. Because they are my in-laws. I have never quite understood why they say, I'm going half stairs. Is it going upstairs or half the stairs? But that is again. Mheshimiwa, we have one song for you, then we will go to the national anthem. This one we prepared especially for you. Hii ya Kingale unaenda mbele na nyuma namna hiyo. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Gotoro boy ishe, gotoro kebyo so, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Gotoro te osen, gotoro te pinge, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Gotoro te pinge, gotoro te osen, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, imano ngetoro, singote cheito boy boy. Oh, me boy boy yeah, me boy boy yeah, oh me boy boy yeah, ah, me boy boy yeah, Sani and Jesus, me boy boy yeah, oh why you too cool, me boy boy yeah, Kap Jehovah, ah, me boy boy yeah, Sani and Jesus, me boy boy yeah, oh me boy boy yeah, me boy boy yeah, oh me boy boy yeah, ah, me boy boy yeah, Sani and Jesus, me boy boy yeah, oh why you too cool, me boy boy yeah, Kap Jehovah, ah, me boy boy yeah, Sani and Jesus, me boy boy yeah, me boy boy yeah, Sani and Jesus, me boy boy yeah. Very nice tundo. Yeah, very nice tundo. Yeah, very nice tundo. Yeah, very nice tundo. Very good. Yeah, very nice tundo. Very good. Yeah, very nice tundo. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, very nice tundo. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Yeah, very nice tundo. That is not very complicated. It is the English. Very nice. Very nice. Look, that is the corporate that very successful. What am I going? May I ask you to remain standing as we sing the national anthem, one verse, and then we will sing the East African anthem. Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu, haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae na undugu, amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi. The East African Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa
Kindly let us remain upstanding for a word of prayer from Dr. George Kwedo. Kindly hand over the microphone to him.
Our Heavenly Father, Creator of heaven and earth, you are Lord God. You are the beginning and you are the end. There's none like you. You are Alpha and Omega. You are the righteous judge. King of glory, we called upon your presence at the start of these functions, the day we came here, and indeed we have seen your manifestations. Father of all, this moment, I invite you in our midst to continue guiding us now and even until the end, because you are awesome, you are righteous, you are majestic, you are awesome. I thank you and I glorify you. I exalt your name, for I pray this believing and trusting in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord.
We request you to sit. So, as we get into the closing ceremony, Chief Guest, the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Dr. Andrew Tuimur, the representative of His Excellency, the Governor of this great county, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, who is represented here by the CC, who is in charge of the caucus at COG in matters of water and sanitation, and he is also in charge of water, sanitation, and natural resources in this great county. Dr. Engineer Festus Ngeno, a close buddy that we have worked closely. Our chairman, CPA Michael Mangeli, who doubles up as the managing director of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company. All other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Now, Chief Guest, if you allow me, as you are aware, this conference is organized by multiple partners, including the Ministry of Water and Sanitation and Irrigation, the hosts, the county government of Nakuru, represented here. We have Women in Water and Sanitation, led by Dr. Leonita Sumba, who will be stepping in the podium in a few minutes. And WASPA was scheduled to be held on 28th of May 2021. But because of the 5 counties which were declared the DIZ, it was difficult to proceed with the conference, so we reviewed the dates to 30th June, that is Wednesday this week, up to this day. The overall goal is clear there, and the conference theme is displayed. But before that, allow me to bring you to speed that we targeted 500 in-person delegates, and I'm happy to inform you that we have here different group of participants, but we have 450 delegates, and we have also 25 institutions exhibiting, bringing 2 exhibitors. So the people who have participated in this conference, including those who have left, have met our target of 500 in person. Why don't we clap for that? And this is from diverse groups. The Ministry of Water and Sanitation has been represented here. Top Echelon, including the CS who was here, and we are happy you are also here. There are other directors who have joined us from the ministry. We have strong representation from the counties led by the host county, and I'm aware we have Tharaka Nithi, we have Kiambu, we have Migori, we have Baringo, who their CECs were here, and others that I may have not mentioned. We also have strong private sector representation, and our chief guest, I know you had the opportunity to move around the exhibition stands where we have the private sector, we have the civil society, KEWASNet, which has been strong in this and supported us, WASH Alliance, and they have brought in the young people from the WASH parliaments in Busia, Kakamega. Yesterday, you were able to award some of the youth groups, including a Sango youth group. We also have strong representations of women from women groups. Dada Mashinani is here. We had representation here strong from water sector institutions, WSTF. We had a virtual presentation this morning, and the other staff here from WSTF. Lake Victoria North Waterworks Development Agencies, who have ensured that in each and every conference organized by WASPA, they participate, they're exhibiting, the CEO was here. WASREB was strongly represented here, the CEO was here, the other staff. WRA, we also have our international partners, Aqua for All from the Netherlands. I don't know if they're in the room, but I saw them here this morning. Then we also have WSP's MDs who have really supported and anchored this conference. Many women, both women and young or the youthful people, a good number, close to 300 of the participants, is because of the support we got from the utilities. If I've not mentioned your group, please, in the interest of time, we recognize you. As you mention your name, where you are, we have recognized you because we may not be able to recognize everybody. So that is it. So as we started on Wednesday, we had a group of around 80 young people who went to the Crescent Island to sample some of the great tourist attraction sites we have in this county. There's a team which also went to Lake Nakuru National Park. Then we had the opening ceremony in the evening. So we had a cocktail which was graced by our chairman, and also the county government of Nakuru was represented there. And we transited into day 2 yesterday, where we had 2 panel discussions. Then we went into the sub-themes that are supporting this thematic area, where participants and delegates now dissected the conference through concurrent sessions, where we had discussions revolving around good governance in water and sanitation through inclusion of youth and women, innovative and optimized financing, capacity development and research, leveraging big data and information, innovation, technologies, market opportunities, and also health and environment, taking cognizance of epidemic, pandemic, emergency, and climate change preparedness and recovery in the water, with a focal point on youth and women. So without much ado, I want to bring in the representative of the young water professionals to give us the resolutions that have been made out of the 2.5-day discussion. It is now my pleasure to welcome Scholastic Angari, who is the Deputy Chairperson of Young Water Professionals, and she works with Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company. Let us appreciate Scholar as she comes. You have 5 minutes. Then, as she completes, we have Dr. Leonita Sumba, another 5 minutes.
The chief guest, Chief Administrative Secretary, Dr. Andrew Tumino, Engineer Festus Ngeno, Engineer Festus Ngeno, CEC, Water and Sanitation, Nakuru County, CPA Michael Mangeli, Chairman WASPA, and all protocols observed. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the youth, these are some of the resolutions that came up during the Congress, and I'm going to read them out. One of the resolutions was to come up with a national chapter for all WSPs to enable us network, build career by connecting and contributing, working with peers within the country and internationally. Right now, we don't have a national chapter in our country, so we want to bring all the WSPs so that we can network and come up with we come up with our careers and also network. Then have one voice that can create an impact to address all our challenges, where we can influence decisions and be part of the policy making. Next. Explore and exploit the opportunities in regard to technology and innovation to improve the efficiency in the water sector, smart metering, NAWASCOL, Sanitation, building system, etc., etc. Also sharing experiences among the various WSPs, tap into the knowledge and skills of our seniors in the sector through mentorship. Secondly, partner with private sectors in capacity building, sponsorship and mentorship program, employment and internship opportunities, research which is an opportunity for the youth to participate in innovation. We have one of the exhibitors who approached Jeremy, and he's very ready to support all the youths. Thirdly, exploit the spaces and opportunities to use to take advantages of grants, loans, and to start manage small. We have young people who are not in the WSPs, and we intend to bring them on board so that we can work together. Then impact water and sanitation projects, scale up training in TVTs, install institution in water-related courses such as hydrology, identify gaps in entry points along the value chain where opportunities exist for youth. I think those were the resolutions that came up in the conference since Wednesday, and I hope and pray that we'll come up with a national chapter for all the youths in Kenya, because most of the countries in East Africa have already started their chapters. Uganda have their own chapter, South Africa have their own chapter. We have the regional representatives in Kenya who are going to bring on board all the WSPs so that we can start the national chapter together. God bless you. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Scholar. Without much ado, I would request Dr. Leonita Sumba, who is the chairperson of WIWAS, to come and present her resolutions. Join me in welcoming Dr. Sumba.
our chief guests, senior officials, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Okay, I'll start by reading our resolutions, and the first one is on mentorship. Already mentorship is happening, but we want to strengthen that, and we've already started by WASPA mentoring WIWAS in this conference. So mentorship is going on, but at WIWAS level, we want to commit to develop a mentorship program for women in the urban, peri-urban, and rural spaces. We shall be deliberate in our efforts at the corporate and high school, college, and rural level to spread these mentorship programs. So we'll even start by just asking who are willing mentors, and we'll develop us for people who are here, but also the ones who did not manage to attend the conference. Number two, we'll ensure representation of women in governance space by taking up opportunities when they are advertised, because governance space is where resources are shared and also abused. So women need to take up these opportunities when they come up. Number three, we'll utilize partnerships to ensure a broad spectrum of members seek funding opportunities for programs and projects that will benefit women. And then capacity building towards critical mass of women leaders. You heard sometimes these women cannot be found when they are needed. So we need to build capacity. Research to answer critical questions along the value chain and identify gaps where opportunities for women exist. Then we encourage the uptake of scholarships for women. An example is the Meru University. They already have scholarships for training in sanitation. So we should spread out this message so that women who qualify can undertake this capacity building. Then gender mainstreaming at all levels to fix the gender gaps that are currently existing in the sector. Policies to fight corruption, gender-based violence, including sexual harassment at workplace, something I'm really passionate about, and create a safe environment for women to excel. Sensitization of women to be more aggressive in taking up the AGPO provisions from the government and other gender-related financial products from the donors and other financial institutions. Then last but not least, women, no one is going to give you anything on a silver plate, silver platter. Build your capacity and expand your network and apply some action. Give some impetus to that potential. You know, the theme was potential is women, but of course it can just remain like that if you don't apply any impetus to move into the next level. Then lastly, although there will be an official vote of thanks, I really want to thank all of you, especially the men who are in this conference, because you're going to be our first male champions, so you are already converted. So I thank you. And then the participants led by our CS, Madam Kariuki, and today our cast, Dr. Taimur. And then women, all the women in this room, our WIWAS women led by my executive committee and the volunteer secretariat, and the WASPA led by the CEO here, Mbugo, and all the other members who are even online just watching us. I'm very grateful, I'm very humbled, and I'm really looking forward to a strong WIWAS going forward. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Another round of applause for Dr. Leonita. I think from the WASPA perspective, I know the chairman will also speak, but we will continue to provide an enabling environment for all our members. As you can see, organizing this conference is a testimony of that enabling environment. And we will work closely with the water service providers to ensure that there is a structured organization that is bringing all the young people in the wash and sanitation space, not only within the water service provision, but we are now going to bring in the other actors from the deliberations that took place. We have the non-state actors, the NGOs, youth parliaments from the different and respective counties, so that there is a common voice on all issues that affect youth and women within the WASH space. I think for WIWAS, we are continuing to support their mentorship program, working closely with World Bank, and we will continue once we have the structure of young water professionals in place, which we anticipate, you are the chief guest, that should not take place in more than the next 60 days. We should have a structured, because we have had only pockets of youths operating in silos, and we know what synergy means. So our commitment as an association is to continue to provide that enabling environment to ensure that these other institutions are strengthened so that they can also participate in the national discourse in shaping matters relating to water and sanitation, and particularly what affects the youth. And many of the challenges have been espoused here by the different presenters. So I don't want to take much time. I want to bring on board our chairman, CPA Michael Mangeli, to make his closing remarks. Kindly join me in welcoming CPA Michael Mangeli.
Our chief guest, the Chief Administrative Secretary, Minister of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Dr. Timur, our CEC in charge of water, County Government of Nakuru, Dr. Engineer Ngeno, all MDs present, all delegates, good afternoon. Mine is to really appreciate the support that we've gotten from you members, because if we had not received such members like you, we'll not be having such a successful event. And we're humbled. I want to say thank you very much for participating. At this juncture, also, I would like also to recognize the presence of all the MDs who are present. We have around, can you stand so that we can see you? MDs of the water utilities, thank you very much. We really appreciate for you for being here. We also want to thank you for allowing our employees also to can sit down, for coming to participate in this event that we've been having. One of the things that I want to bring to the attention of our chief guest, one of the solutions that is missing from what was talked by Dr. Sumba and also the lady from Nairobi Water, is about appointments of youth and women at board levels, more so to the utilities, more so the waterworks development agencies. We expect to have women and youth slot so that at least we can achieve the theme of this conference. Secondly, also mental compulsory that also from WASPA, let them also make it clear that all water utilities, the composition of the board of directors, we need to have a woman representative and also a youth. Why am I saying things? So that when they are sitting at the board level, then at least we'll be able to unlock the theme of our conference, and we need to take it up from there. I also want to say on behalf of WASPA, thank you very much also the county government of Nakuru. We will receive a lot of support from you. We have enjoyed our stay, and pass our regards to His Excellency the Governor of this great county, because we have enjoyed ourselves. For those few remarks, I would like to end there. And now at this juncture, members will allow me to welcome his Dr. Engineer Ngeno to come and make his remarks.
Our chief guest, Dr. Timur, the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Chairman WASPA, my good friend CP Mangeli, CEO WASPA, MDs present, and County Executive Committee members, colleagues from the Council of Governors, delegates, present, all protocol observed. Good afternoon. Mine will be very brief. Now we have the chief guest who will be able to make the closing remarks. One is to appreciate on behalf of His Excellency the Governor that we were honored to host this conference as County Government of Nakuru, coming hot on the heels of hosting a successful World Rally Championship. In fact, we're really proud that we were able to host successfully the WASPA conference again. Secondly is to appreciate the fact that you've been able, I presume you've been able to enjoy the ambience, what we could offer in Nakuru and Naivasha. For those who are able to go for the excursion, and even to our partner institution, our support partner Sanitation today morning, to really see what we are doing on the sanitation value chain programming. One of the key things I want to appreciate also is to the MDs of the various utilities who are able to allow the youth and the women to attend this conference. In fact, during our deliberations, for the very first time, for those of us who have been in the sector, water sector conference chief guests, they are usually the culprits that usually attend. And what has been missing in that conference is the women and the youth. And we appreciate WASPA for taking that lead and really focusing the conversation. In fact, if you look at the MDs who are available, they were just providing support. Otherwise, if it was just another conference, I can tell you out of the 78 MDs that we have in Kenya, I can guarantee that 90% were going to be in attendance. So I want to congratulate you, WASPA, for that focus. And of course, supporting WIWAS, thanks Dr. Sumba for really focusing on the women, and Jeremy for focusing on the youth. In fact, I was just yesterday discussing with Chair and the CEO that I think you have now very strong roots or support partners in terms of as a WASPA. You know, when you say, I know we have WASCO games which are anchored under WASPA, so having WIWAS and the youth chapter anchored under WASPA makes you a very strong ally, and that is why for us from the county governments we really appreciate and support the work that you do. CS, I want to just mention one of the two things that have come out on the resolutions. I know you'll be able to focus more in detail from the youth and the women. The WIWAS team is about the mentorship and the networks that they're supposed to focus on. And I entirely, during my conversations throughout the conference since Wednesday, was about the mentorship and the networks that we need to create within ourselves. So I presume, and this was a great opportunity for you, especially the youth and the women, to be able to network and create even synergies within your colleagues, peer colleagues in the various institutions. Adage goes by says that your net worth is determined by the number of networks that you have. So I presume by the end of the day you have really, really improved on your networking, and that goes along in terms of improving your net worth. Two things, CAS, I mentioned one when the CAS was here and was responded to in terms of the conditional liquidity support grant. But as we look forward, we were discussing, and one of the key things that is really still an issue in the sector, and this goes on to innovation and the technology that we are looking at, is the issue of bridging up in terms of our consultants and in the consultants and the works that we do, especially the infrastructure development. And one of the things, CAS, that I really raised, which is now going to, even we will caucus it at the Council of Governors, especially on the implementation of projects, was the issue of the gap that exists between the WSPs and the waterworks development agencies. Not the issue of collaboration. I know we have the intergovernmental framework that is in place, and of course we are working in terms of implementation of the same and operationalization, but in terms of design and how do I call it, the new technology that needs to be employed in terms of the project itself. And I'm mentioning this, we have had conversation. I want to recognize my friend Dr. Kathuru from Kipi Africa, who is a great partner to WASPA We've discussed the issues of drillers. He's passionate about drilling, and one of the key things we had a session with the drillers is how best can you be able to just optimize your drilling capacity. Coming again on the auto dailies, one of the key things, CES, and I know the ministry is accused, which we are proud of as Council of Governors and MDs, that the non-payment of loans from the WSPs. And the question that WSPs usually ask is that they were not part and parcel of the process of discussion in terms of implementation of the projects. And it goes now even upon the devolution CAS that one of the key things that needs to be preached is the design. In the 21st century, I don't expect that we still use, for example, concrete piping for sewerage plants when we have new technology that needs to be used. As an example, in 2010, 2012, when I was still, 2013, when I was MD and part and parcel of WASPA, there was a deliberate move by the utilities, and I want to appreciate WASPA on the strike that you made. Two things that were resolved. I sat in the executive of WASPA. One was that all utilities should move from PVC pipes to HDP, and I can tell you, in terms of revenue management, that is happening in all the utilities. If there are a few that are remaining, then I think they are on the path of recovery. Secondly, in data management, and WASREP should be able to confirm this, is the issues of smart ERP systems and smart metering, for example. And they moved on that thing, but now they still lack CAS between the utilities now and the waterworks development agencies in what needs to be done in terms of design. And I'm proud, thanks for the support that you've given us, especially, and I'm giving this an example in Nakuru, and I was looking at the sub-theme there, promoting of good governance in water and sanitation, inclusion of youth and women. This is where Jeremy and the team will come in, and those are flamingos. There are no flamingos in Nakuru, specifically because of the sewerage spillage into the Lake Nakuru. We have Lake Nakuru Biodiversity Program that is from the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, supported to the county, and we are part and parcel of the process as a county government, as the utility and Central Rift Waterworks Development Agency. And that directive came from your office on a CS, and we will make sure that that becomes an example on how new technology will be employed in terms of the design of the new sewerage that will be coming for us to be able to save Lake Nakuru on that part. And I will urge that the same spirit will be carried out in quite a number of the works that we'll be doing. With those few remarks is to thank you, CS. I know we've been there since yesterday in the ceremony that you attended in terms of awards, and being patient to close this ceremony in the honor of WASPA and in honor of County Government of Nakuru, who have been the co-sponsors of this event. I would like to end there and say thank you so much, and looking forward to engaging with you. We are available to support you and to provide any mentorship, leadership, and even networking programs that you look forward to as youth and women. With those few remarks, and before the CAS comes, I'm being told that they need to really give you the one and only important song for you to be able to get the energy to come and address us and close this workshop for us. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. We can be upstanding because you need to sing with the CAS as we invite him to the stage. Yeah.
Io ni cerioso, io ni devo male, io ni alza, io ni morisce, io ni devo male, io ni alza, io ni olele, io ni elevo, io ni alza, io ni olele, io ni elevo, io ni alza, io ni
Thank you, Kayamba Africa. Kongoi missing. The CC for water and environment for Nakuru County is also representing the county government of Nakuru. Engineer Ngeno, the chairman of WASPA, Mangeli, the CEO of WASPA, all the other invited guests. I see my friend Dr. Kaduru here, and all the others, my colleagues from the ministry who are here, and everybody else, good afternoon. I know it's been a long 3 days, but I believe these are 3 days well spent, and I'm sure hearing the resolutions which we have passed here, they were days well spent. I think last night I mentioned a few things on the importance of water. I don't want to go back there, but really what we're trying to do is to improve water and sanitation services by whatever means we can. And the youth professionals and the water, the women in water and sanitation are a testimony to that from what the resolutions that they've given here. So I just want to say that water, as I mentioned yesterday, is very good for us. And I just realized that the water sector gets about 21 billion every year. Out of that, almost half is lost through non-revenue water, 8.9%, 8.9 billion, which is a lot of money, really, which we can save through use of new technologies and so on. So I just want to address myself this afternoon on the closure of this meeting by saying that really, as a ministry, we are aware of the many innumerable issues and challenges that face the water sector, particularly in terms of women and youth. Because as you all realize, about 80% of women and youth are involved in household collection where water and sanitation services are either unserved or underserved. So that really shows you that a great percentage of women are involved in this issue where water is not really available. Of course, alongside this comes gender-based address, how we are trying to curb this. And of course, exclusion of youth and women in governance. And I'm happy that one of the theme was promotion of good governance by inclusion of women and youth in all this, so that we can improve as a matter. There are missed opportunities because of all this, what I'm saying, the challenges I'm saying. There's also a loss of productivity due to high disease burden of communicable diseases mainly. Hence, of course, this lowers our income and lowers ultimately the GDP of the country as a whole. Yesterday we witnessed, when we were awarding the gala night, that we have actually few innovations and technologies being churned out by our universities and our research institutions. And what does this mean? It means that there are few technologies that we can apply, but when you look at it really, and looking at the display of what we saw, the 25 or so companies that were here, they're actually new technologies that we can use. And I really want to urge, yesterday when we were looking at the issue of awards, ya vijana na dada, we realized that we have few people, there were few entries, and we challenged ourselves that next year, or if we have another conference like this, let us get more and more entries. The CEO of WASPA and the chairman, you know, sometimes the certificate and the plaque is not enough. If there's a bit of money that goes with it, you'll get many entries. Sinamna hiyo. Having followed the deliberations for the last 3 days, and as a ministry, we are fully committed to supporting and shaping the discourse of the youth and women, both at policy level and of course at service delivery level. Our infrastructure investments in water sanitation space will continue to be responsive to the needs of women and youth in creating employment opportunities through our government structures, our SAGAs, our various agencies. And of course, when the CS was opening this conference, she mentioned that all our employers will be sensitized and private partners, so that they involve more of our youth in internship programs, more than what we are doing at the moment. And of course also involve women in that aspect. The issue of gender-based violence has been addressed. His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta the other day launched a gender-based violence strategy, and this will help eradicate the vice which mostly disenfranchises the female gender. Of course, this will go a long way in bringing down this issue of gender-based violence, which is really a menace, particularly at this time when COVID is here with us. You have so many issues now in families. People are killing each other. People are doing all sorts of things. Somebody wakes up with a panga. I saw today's paper where somebody cut his wife, his hands, he removed his eye. So really it tells you what's going on.
So we hope this strategy will help curb some of these vices. And of course already the ministry is working closely with all our agencies, as I've said, and other partners to mainstream inclusion of women and youth in governance. Structures based on meritocracy to progressively achieve the two-thirds based gender rule. Capacity building, which has been mentioned by some of the resolutions that you gave here, we have restructuring KEI, Kenya Water Institute, so that it can handle some of these youth and women issues. And we've actually talked to the CEO there so that this can be done. Of course, we know that it is a right for everybody, according to Article 43 of our Constitution, so that we are able to bring in more youth and women in this regard. The MD of Water Sector Trust Fund was here this morning, Shuia, and I think he gave you a talk on what the Water Trust Fund is doing. And of course, my challenge now to you, youth and women, is make use of this Water Sector Trust Fund. They have a lot of money, which if you do good proposals, good programs, they'll be able to fund you. So we have also restructured this Water Sector Trust Fund to be a hub of financing of innovative technologies within the wash space that have been alluded to this morning, of course, when the CEO was speaking. So those are some of the ways that we really try to mitigate these issues. And as a ministry, of course, we will continue to support the women and youth through enacting policies that are friendly, that are useful, that can really help spur this sector. I've listened to what the women in water and sanitation have mentioned, the issue of mentorship, and of course what the young professionals mentioned on ensuring capacity building and so on. And I want to assure you that as a ministry we will be there to assist you, to work with you so that we achieve what you want to achieve, particularly the national chapter which the young professionals want to achieve, which you said it's already in Uganda and the other countries. The chairman WASPA mentioned that we should involve the youth and women in some of our boards, some of our institutions, and I can assure you that the CS is very particular about women and youth involvement. And so we'll be able to take this up, and of course I'm sure she also knows, so that we involve more women and youth in some of these institutions, which will really help in that aspect. CC, my friend engineer, the new technologies that are there, we are aware, we've seen them, and actually, as you rightfully said, we need to discuss with our water service providers and our agencies so that we take into account the new technology.
Thank you to the exhibitors, the 25 of you, who made it very interesting on the innovations and the technologies that we are having now. Thank you to the hotel and the management of this wonderful facility. And thank you to the forum.
South to be prepared for the word of closing prayer. So, Chief Guest, with your permission, I'll request that all of us be upstanding. So we move to closing prayer. MD Muranga South. Remember to pray for journey mercies and also thank God for the successful conference. Let us be accompanied by the innumerable company of angels as we go back to our domicile.
Let us pray. About your Heavenly Father, once again we are before you. Thank you, Lord, for being with us. Thank you, Lord, for enlightening us as we declare that you are our Creator. You created us. You yourself, you are never created. To thank you that you created us in your image. That as you innovated, as you are creating the world from voidness, that God, we can create in our environments, in our situations, in our offices. And we thank you for the awareness creation that has gone on. Lord, please praise of God. And I pray that as we go back to our offices, Jehovah God, we shall go to turn things upside down. That we shall give space to women and the youth. And especially us that are in management, Lord, that we shall create that space, we shall create an environment. It's only you that can help us do this. It's only you that can help us move from where we are to the next level. We have had it, Lord. We want to implement it. We want to walk the talk. Help us, encourage us, give us strength. Because God, you are counting on us. The world is counting on us. And we shall be answerable. May we do that which God you created us for, that which God you gave us these possessions for. While you have kept us alive till now, we thank you that we shall do it. It's not us, it's not our strength, it's not our ability, but it is you helping us. Therefore, God, we thank you as we close this session. We thank you for protecting us.
None of us got sick. None of us got incidences that could not allow them to continue. And those that got them, you held their hands to be able to overcome. Now, God, we thank you that we have come to the end of it, and we commit our lives to you. We pray for journey mercies. We have come from various places, various corners of this country. May you grant us journey mercies. I cover our Lords by the blood of your Son, Jesus Christ. I cover the drivers that you drive by the blood of your Son, Jesus Christ. And even, God Almighty, all of us as we get varied, as we get transported, as we get carried and driven, may you also cover us as we surrender those vehicles to you. The Lord God, you will protect us, you will guide us. We thank you also for our chief guest today. My God, we thank you, together with our CES in the opening session, they have committed themselves to support this agenda. And God, I pray that also you give them wisdom and counsel. We thank you for the Nakuru County. God Almighty, also expand them and bless them for being our host, O Lord. And therefore, God, we thank you as we surrender all of us to you. And now, as we go for lunch, I pray that, God, you bless this lunch, that it will be of help to our flesh and bodies, that you be able to get the strength, the strength that we need, as you also encourage us by feeding us through your Holy Spirit. And we pray all this believing and trusting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. I'll request our chair to lead the chief guest as we exit for lunch. Then Kayamba can give us a jig as we also exit. Maybe shikilia hapo kidogo. So make your way to the lunch where it is at the restaurant. It is closing by 3. So there are just a few minutes. We have already been warned. So as you dance, also ensure that 3 does not find you here. So I'm told that we are dancing ourselves out. So, thank you. God bless you.
Video show.